This is NSR.
And I've forgotten which dial is which. Hello, everybody! It's Josh Watson here, welcoming you to another Saturday morning. Another week has flown past for me. It's been a busy week, and I'm welcoming you back to the show. It's the Nerd Show. It's 10 o'clock. Oh, it's been a week for me. Like I said last week, exams, and so much stuff going on. And of course, Fight Night. Fight Night being the big event of my week, and we will get into Fight Night soon enough, and trust me, I could probably do the entire show on it. Honestly, probably the best thing I've done here at Newcastle. But before I go crazy on that front, I'm going to give you some songs. Let's give you some songs. And this, we were just talking about Fight Night, weren't we? This was my walk-on music for Fight Night, and I said it because I thought it'd be a bit of a joke, but I thought I've got to play it on the night. This is Kung Fu Fighting.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. But they fought with expert timing. There were funky Chinamen from funky Chinatown. They were chopping them up. They were chopping them down. It's an ancient Chinese art, and everybody knew their part. From a fainting to a step, and a kicking from the hip. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. Yeah. But they fought with expert timing. There was funky Billy Chin and little Sammy Chung. He said, here comes the big boss. Let's get it on. We took a bow and made a stand. Started swaying with the hand. A sudden motion made me skip. Now we're into a brand new trip. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. But they did it with expert timing. Oh, yeah. Keep on. Sure, everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. Make sure you have expert timing. Kung fu fighting. Hands and feet, fast as lightning. Keep on.
It's time for the Nerd Show.
Here we go again.
Yes, they work. The sound effects work. And that sounded so much better on Audacity than it does now. Anyway, before we go too much further, that was Kung Fu Fighting by Carl Douglas. A nice bit of cheese this morning. Some cheese on your toast this Saturday morning. I might have made that a section now. Cheese on toast. Great breakfast there. Anyway, I'm talking rubbish as always. Anyway, like I said, Fight Night, highlight of my week. And I know this is technically a show for nerds. And, boxing, sport, not particularly nerdy. But I think it was amazing to watch. And to be honest, I talked about Logan Paul KSI fight the other week, and that's kind of nerdy. So this is carrying on with that. And this, honestly, was the best thing I've done at the university so far. So I think we need to have some more appropriate music for boxing. That was not particularly appropriate for the kind of action we got last night. How about this? Girls theme, it goes with everything. Anyway, yes. Last night, I keep thinking it was last night. Thursday night, we had fight night. I hope you saw it. I had so much fun. And you can tell because I'm just continuously waffling on about it. We went down in the student union in the underground place. Basically, this company comes around to quite a few of the universities, definitely in the north anyway, and sets this up. So he'll take a few students from here, and there was a few from Northumbria down the road. Boo. Boo hiss indeed. Insert your boos. Cheer, jar, whatever. Make noises. Yeah, there's a lot of... it was just so much fun. Honestly, I'm lost for words on how such a great time it was. We set up everything down there. Radio show, we were doing some of the punditry. I was on the punditry team. I did the start of the show and I did the end. Not a huge amount, but I'll take it for first year. Considering how busy my week is, I didn't really want a huge amount, to be honest. But it was great to see the fights. Some of the best fights of the night were the girls' fights. Sandra was in this... one of the girls from Northumbria, Sandra, was in 2 fights. She got pretty bodied in her first one, I'll be honest, but she came back and won the second, halfway through another few hours in through the night, recovered amazingly and just dominated the second match. And she was the highlight of the night, partly because she did 2 matches. The final match, well, how many KOs did we have? We had 2 technical KOs. There was no countdown knockouts. There was 2 people pulling out because of injury, which is fair enough. It happens in a ring. It was great. The atmosphere was amazing. My favourite moment of the night has to be when the commentary desk, on the commentary desk, I wasn't there sadly, but I was behind at the time. And, it's students at the student bar, you know what happens. Everyone gets hammered. And, yeah, pretty projectile vomit landed on the commentary desk. And that was probably the most ridiculous moment of the night. Highlight of the night there. Just the whole thing. If you're interested, it's all on the NUTV YouTube channel, the entire night, punditry and all. Look, even if you don't like the punditry, even if you think we have no idea what we're talking about, which is fair, I don't think any of us did. I, made up my way through a good chunk of everything I was saying. As long as you say right hook, you'll be fine, right? I probably offended a load of jocks listening in there. Anyway, yeah, even if you don't want to hear the punditry, just tune into the show, watch the show. It was such a great time. You won't get the full vibe of being there, obviously, but it was still amazing boxing. It's some of the best fights, like I said, I've seen. I mean, I don't watch a huge amount of boxing, but, just seeing the students. I know they're just students, but it was intense, and you wanted to get behind these people. I can't explain it. I really, really can't explain it, which is terrible for radio. I know the point is I can. Yeah, so that was Fight Night. 100% tune in on NUTV. Big shout-outs to them. They did amazing on the setup, apart from the end with the credits roll and we're still standing there. But that's hilarious in its own right. There was a few technical hitches, but honestly... Anyway, I've got to stop talking about this because, a week has happened in Nerdom, right? Something... I'm going to turn Guile off there. Something must have gone on. Well, actually, it's been quite a quiet week on that front. There hasn't been anything major. I've said that now, and I'm going to get my journalist team typing in to me saying, no, you've missed this thing, you've missed this thing, you've missed this thing. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't bring it to me before, so that's your own fault. Anyway, I'm already moaning about people on live air. That's not great. Anyway, so we'll put some more music on. Last week, I played you a song by the band Level 42, and I said this was on the Forgotten B-sides, and I said, I need to actually teach you the band. Well, I thought we should put something on. Level 42, definitely a nerd band. Okay, hear me out. 42 is the Hitchhiker's reference. That's the reason it's in there. And this song, Micro Kid, is definitely nerdy. And you could decide. I was talking about this to my parents of all people last night. Who this is about? Either it's about Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. The consensus is probably Steve Jobs. But anyway, listen in. Hear me. Tripping over my words. Still tired from Fight Night, I guess. Oh, no, I'll go stop. Anyway, Micro Kid, Level 42.
In a world of indecision, he ain't about to
This is the home of student radio in Newcastle. This is NSR.
I think I should have waited to put this music on. Anyway, welcome. What am I doing? I've already welcomed you to the show. Oh, obviously, still recovering from a fight night. Anyway, so that was Micro Kid, Level 42. Very nerdy. Not particularly, well, geeky, I guess, but also very nerdy, very techy. Love it. The show has, on that front, been getting light criticisms. I wouldn't say they're, serious. They're nowhere near serious. But, light mentions on how it's become very geeky and has moved away from the nerd that's in the name. The problem being I don't cover enough science and physics. As you can hear from the background music, we're going to do some spacey stuff, because some spacey stuff has happened this week. The problem with covering science and physics, especially physics and any of them, is not that I have a bad knowledge. I do have a relatively decent knowledge of this stuff. Yeah, I'm taking physics at a degree. You have to have a decent knowledge of this stuff. The hard bit is explaining it to people, keeping it interesting. I could try and do a whole show on it, and that would be great, but I couldn't consistently pull that off every week. So you're trying to find a balance, which of course means you lead to the wonderful world of astrophysics. Brian Cox, it's so amazing. And I end up just talking about that like I did on the first show. I think that's the only other bit of science I've done. Because everything else kind of ends up being either a bit pseudoscience-y or you can't get into enough detail without talking about maths. I mean, really, you do need maths for astrophysics as well. But I'm digressing. We had that test yesterday and that was awful, but we're not going to talk about that, are we? Anyway, so the big event that's happened this week is a new black hole has been found. The black hole is within this galaxy. Yeah, as you can see, this is the problem with doing recent physics events. You have to, or if science events in general, you have to keep hold of these things. Within this galaxy, but it's far too large. It's too massive black hole. It's much bigger than any black hole predicted. No, it's not within this galaxy. What am I talking about? It couldn't be. In a neighboring galaxy, and it's too large. I should have really read this article more. This is going great. Anyway, Yeah, this is it's too large of a black hole to exist normally in conventional methods. Okay, the conventional method for black hole formation, if people didn't know, is you have your largest stars. When they die, they can loads of their mass is given off, and what remains is compressed into a very dense core. That'll either become a neutron star, which is super heavy, and the density is so great that a teaspoon is like the same massive. There's always some comparison to like a city or something. Probably New York, the same mass as the whole New York or something. And it's the same. It's that dense. Or becomes a black hole which has got infinite density and are really cool and suck everything in. You've seen Interstellar, the usual kind of sci-fi weirdness, which is, to be honest, true when it comes to black holes. They are kind of crazy things. We've not even touched them at degree level yet properly. We know they exist, obviously, but we've not gone into them at all because you can't go back out. Ha ha ha! Nothing could escape. That was awful. Anyway, and I laughed way too loud. Anyway, so yeah, the problem with this black hole is it's way too big. No star seems to be able to get large enough to actually form it, which is ridiculous. So the current theory is this is two black holes that have collapsed together. It's just an interesting piece of science news, and also because I've been told that I need to put more science news in. Sadly, I couldn't get any further opinions from my astrophysics lecturer or anybody else in the matter on high levels here at the university, because we had the test yesterday, like I said, which I'm going to talk about now because it's astrophysics and this is my show and I can link things together however I want. Was weird. We'd been given the the equations and the constant sheets beforehand, from A-level GCSE physics for some people, either. It's weird to think that most people haven't done physics since GCSE. Sorry, to me that's really weird. But yes, on there was the mass of Jupiter, and this just seemed like a really weird thing to put on a sheet. It's just a completely random thing to put on to your formula sheet. So we were all guessing when is the question about the mass of Jupiter going to come up. But you know what? Never did. Instead, we got loads of stuff that I'm pretty sure we hadn't even been taught. But we're not going to go into that because I'm just going to start feeling... Yeah, I'll stop feeling good. I'll stop feeling pumped, which is what I'm feeling. Anyway, let's put some music on before the background noise becomes too loud and you can all hear it. This is Klaxsons and Golden Scans, and I think that's how you say that. It's a good song, okay? Listen, enjoy.
Hey guys, you've tuned into The Nerd Show.
Probably the oddest thing in the universe.
I love that one. Yes, that was Golden Scans, Klaxsons even, with Golden Scans. I love that tune. It's just so bouncy. It's so great for this morning. The sun is beaming down into the studio. It's actually kind of off-putting. It's just blasting through the windows. We don't have any curtains at all on these. No blinds, nothing. So we just get the full brunt of the sun as it shines off the frost on the rooftops of the Student Union building. Actually, I'm in the Student Union building. What building is that? I can't even see because of how bloody sunny it is. I can't even tell what building that is on the right. Anyway, you get the picture. It is bright, so struggling to focus and all that. Anyway, yesterday was Black Friday, and this completely went over my head, to be honest. I was so busy dealing with exams and school and the like, you kind of forget it happens, and it's no longer as huge as a deal as it was. Like, I remember a few years ago when everyone was going crazy about it, and we'd kind of got the bug from America, because the Americans have done it for a while, because they have Thanksgiving on Thursday. Finite day. Best day. Anyway, I've got to stop talking about finite. Damn it. Anyway, yeah, so back to Black Friday, back in black. Oh, I need to put that on. Anyway, oh god, I'm doing the thing where I just say words. Anyway, focus, Josh, focus. Anyway, Black Friday happened yesterday, and there doesn't seem to be a huge, like, run on it. Like, I barely heard anything about it in my circles, and nerds are normally quite well known. Well, at least, okay, we take Black Friday pretty seriously because everything's on sale. Like, you can buy your games for half the price, or your comics, or your films, or anything, any kind of media that we love to consume because we're nerds, and that's what we do. We all consume things, don't we? Anyway, so yeah, there was a distinct lack of that this year, and I feel it's calmed down a lot, which is, to be honest, a good thing. I mean, it could also just be, and this is probably more likely, that Amazon, I mean, I was about to say and others, but it's basically Amazon, has just monopolized the event, especially as they now, what is it now? I saw Black Friday sales on last week and probably the week before. It's now a holiday season in its own right. It's the kind of holiday season began in November, like, you know, early November, as we saw with the Christmas lights going up when I went into town last week, you know, which was crazy. I thought it was way too early on the subject. No, we'll get to that later. You know, I thought that was a really crazy thing to do already, but then, you know, Black Friday just comes around the corner like that, especially here because there isn't a proper holiday dedicated to, like, a reason for it. There's just, we inherited it off the Americans like everything else. So I guess because it's happened slowly, we don't have the huge rush that we used to. Like, I kind of miss the news reports of the madness that was Black Friday. You know, you know, people hitting each other over the head to get a television that was 10% off. But people have got so much more time, which is better for consumers. It's better to have time on these sales. But it's just a different way of doing things, and I think it's changed a lot, and I think it will continue to change. Black Friday as an event, it's still kind of weird because it's a holiday. It's a sale, especially in the UK, that has no weight behind it. It has no reason. In the States, it has a reason. It's the day after Thanksgiving. Everyone is together. People get ready for Christmas after Thanksgiving. Here, or holiday, I think they're back to calling it Christmas now. The States, it's all over the place on that front. Here, sure, it's been Christmas. Anyway, here, because it has no reason, it kind of just happens. It's kind of just a pre-Christmas sale period as well as a post-Christmas sale period. And let's be honest, the sale period that now lasts the entire year. Anyway, enough of me going on about Black Friday. Let's talk about other events that are coming up forward, which is Christmas. We are getting there. Only 2 weeks of being at this university left until we all get 3 weeks off. And that's, of course, you're an international student or stay here for the week. It's Christmas. If so, good luck to you. I mean, credits to you. I mean, Newcastle's a great place to stay. I wouldn't mind being here for the whole of Christmas, but I do want to get home. I do need to see my peeps and chill out and just take 3 weeks off. Oh, physics, man. I need a break. Never thought I'd say that. I was talking about last week, Christmas-wise, how I used to do there was a village fete that used to be on every year near me. Oh, the mouse has gone all over the place. Yeah, and how I enjoyed that, and how for me that's the start of Christmas. So, and that is on today. So as a result, I'd not prepared for this, and the keyboard isn't working, so I might not do it. I feel we are well ready to play the first Christmas song of the year. However, because it's still relatively early, we have to play one that is a clever Christmas song. And this is a classic clever Christmas song. Even though it's kind of been adopted as being just a regular one, I still think it's the best mainstream Christmas song. I don't know many, like, alternative scene Christmas songs. They don't really exist. I mean, you can't really make one because there's just, you know, the usual cheesy classics. But this one always goes against that whenever you hear them in a I want to say a mall. I've been spending too much time looking at American media, and Spotify is having fun. Wow. Okay, there we go. Yeah, every time you hear it, it's always, yeah, it's the usual kind of bumping beats, but it's, you know, doesn't particularly feel very Christmassy. It's the only song I know, and only at Christmas, this is something I always say, can you get away with having a song about nuclear holocaust in it being played? This is, of course, Stop the Cavalry.
This is NSR.
This is me frantically changing between music, so we can go for... I love it when the jingle doesn't play through your headset. Don't you love it when that happens? Isn't it great? Anyway, yes, that was the jingle for the Nerd Show. My tablet, my Chromebook's just unplugged, and I'm going to sort that out later. Let's roll for This Week in Geek. Like I said, not a huge not a huge amount of releases this week, so pretty quiet. So I'm just going to kind of throw through a few things that we've seen. The two major things we've announced is TV news, which is rare on the show. We've seen early trailers have been flowing around YouTube, at least on my sphere. They may have come out earlier. For Doctor Who, The Return, supposedly, I believe, early 2020. We're going to have her back. I'm still not used to it. I've got nothing against it, but I'm just, it takes a while to get used to that kind of thing. I know what she's been doing now technically for a year, but we've only had one series. Yeah, Who doesn't come out enough? But then I say that, and then I watch the Who's, and they're kind of all just a blur of flashing lights and colourful images. Even still now, sadly. They need to bring it back to the first series. The first series was the best thing. The first series of the reboot. Obviously, I need to put that in there first. It's still the best series of the reboot. Fight me, Tennant fans. Of course, they need to take it back all the way. And to be honest, I don't think they'll ever reach the same levels they did in the old 2 days, because it's just not the same thing anymore. But who knows? They might be able to put it back at some point. Next up on the TV news, like I said, is this is Courier news, the good old Courier. So of course this is a bit old, probably last week's technically, but I didn't talk about it. Red Dwarf is getting a 2-hour-long TV movie. I talked about them in the history of UK Nerdom, I think. That was a few weeks ago. Red Dwarf, so much fun, and I'm going to put it. I need to talk about it. Always a bit worried when it comes to bringing back the that series in particular. I think it's had a few attempts at a reboot over the last few years, and none of them have really picked up enough steam to kind of, keep the show going. No one's really liked them. It's just kind of felt like they're just trying to emulate the old shows. They've not really hit the nail on the head. But who knows? They might be able to pull it off this time. The usual team is in, and I believe it's the same writers as the original. Just flicking through the article here so you can hear from the paperwork. Go Courier. Good work. They were also down at Fine Line, by the way. They were hard at work at taking loads of photos. They were good fun. They'll be back for 3-part, written by the same people. Yeah, on Dave. It'll be great. It'll be great. I'll have to at least give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. Also this week, well, okay, I need to talk about some gaming news because I'd be shocked by the huge number of games listening. Pretty much my call. This should loop. Oh no, it's going to go for something even better. We bring it right down at this point. I mean, it kind of fits. We've got Game Awards coming up soon. Big night of the year. I swear they were earlier last year. I swear we had Game Awards come out much sooner last year. Because, it was the same time Smash Bros. Came out. And that must have been... That was last Friday. Anyway. Game Awards is coming up. I'm not really sure when I'm going to talk about them, because they are a big event. We saw the nominations come out. Death Stranding is on there. Stranding. The aforementioned Smash Brothers, which won't win, because sadly it's only a fighting game. Jedi Lost. I think Jedi one's on there. Sekiro, the ninja game that came out a while ago. Sekiro, that is on there. That's, the Dark Souls, but fast-paced. There's a handful of really high praise games in there. However, the big one is, as always, personally, the indie list. The indie list is always great fun, and it's great to see Untitled Goose Game make it on there. It's so much fun. It's a 3-hour romp, but it's become such a big meme. It has to, and I really hope it wins. Yeah, to be honest, that's all that's happened this week in Geek. Not a huge week on that front. As you can hear, we got the Piano 2 music. It's because it's on my background music playlist, and it should have repeated each song. Oh well. So yeah, that's this week in Geek. Pretty chilled out, nothing major. If you can you hear what sounds like works? I have no idea what's going on. I mean, this could be the strike action. The strike action has it won't be strike action, but strike action has barely affected me this week. I mean, consider that lucky or not. It depends on your point of view and what course you're doing. But we've had one day off. We had Thursday was off because labs wasn't on. They were on strike, which is very annoying for a lot of people because it's the only thing we had. And a few of the guys in the first year live in town and have hour-long train journeys to get in on the metro, late for something, and it doesn't end well. So yeah, the strike action has not been hugely affected us, but I imagine it's affected a lot more for everybody else. It's just kind of what lectures you've got if they're members of the union. Our major problem was a lot of ours. I don't know if I mentioned this. I think I avoided the strikes last week. Our two physics side lecturers are both immigrant workers, so they have a visa that they need to keep up, and if they break their contract with their employer, which going on strike would do, they have got the risk of deportation, which is slightly scary thing to think about. That you can't go on strike if you're an immigrant worker. My leftist midichlorians perhaps are tingling on that, feeling like something should be done about that. That's not fair. You should be able to, you should be safe in your job if you were to go on strike. If you were going on strike as part of the union, 100% you should be safe. Anyway, enough about my slight leftist rants. I need to put some more politics into this show, I guess, at some point. Anyway, let's put on something by Iggy. Good old Iggy Pop. The later years, very chilled. This is James Bond.
She wants to be your James Bond. She wants to be your James Bond. Well, it's not for a price, not to be nice. She wants to be your James Bond. She wants to be your James Bond. She wants to be your James Bond. She might stand in your way, but still she'll save the day. She wants to be your James Bond. She walks like him, talks like him too. She can suss out the spy, even if it's you. She trusts no one, not even herself. She makes no sudden moves, chalks it up to stealth. She wants to be your James Bond. She wants to be your James Bond. Well, it's not for a price, and it's not to be nice. She wants to be your James Bond. She wants to be your James Bond. She wants to be your James Bond. She might stand in your way, but still she'll save the day. She wants to be your James Bond. Nuts melt in her mouth, but not in her hand. No need to figure it out. She just likes Just let her be your James Bond.
I had that on too loud. Sorry, people. That was the smooth man himself, Iggy Pop, James Bond. And of course, as I soon start to talking, someone decides to put the lawnmower on from the sound of it outside. Of course, they are lit. This actually feels like they're trying to outcompete with me on the radio. Okay, so this is ridiculous. I'm going to put another song on then, because this is way too loud. I'm going to have to close the windows and stuff, because, yeah, this is... I don't know if you guys can even hear this, but I can barely hear myself think over it. While that's going on, this is the Smiths and Panic.
Streets of London, panic on the streets of Birmingham. I wonder to myself, could life ever be sane again? The lead side streets that you slip down. I wonder to myself, hopes may rise and the grass near, but honey pie, you're not safe here, so you run down to the safety of the town. But there's panic on the streets of Carlisle, Dublin, Dundee, Humberside. I wonder to myself. Burn down the disco, hang the blessed DJ, because the music that they constantly play, it says nothing to me about my life. Hang the blessed DJ, because the music they constantly play. On the lead side streets that you slip down, the provincial towns you jog round. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ, hang the DJ. Hang the DJ, hang the DJ.
You've tuned into the Nerd Show, and you might hear something good if you...
Stay a while and listen.
That was the Smiths and Panic. And again, he just stopped as the music stopped. It's someone out there with the blower, blowing the leaves off, hard at work. Good to see them, to be honest, getting some jobs done, unlike our lecturers this week. Ha-ha! Anyway, I was also... Something I need to talk about on the show is an area of nerdom I am often accused of completely forgetting about, which is comic books, which is fair, because they're not something I'm particularly invested in. I just never really kind of read them. I've got a big book at home. I think I talked about the Thunderbirds a few weeks ago and my obsession. I've got a book with a load of the old ones, the Lady Penelope series, and a handful of the Thunderbirds in, which I enjoyed. But I read, what could be described as children's comic books, like the Beano growing up. I've read the Beano growing up. Let's not say I did any more than that. That's literally what I did. But I wouldn't say I myself am not particularly into that sphere. However, a few of my journalists have contacted me saying I need to cover some stuff. And this is a good thing to cover because it's an interesting thing that affects all of especially nerdom. Nerdom is massively, and geekdom and all the things, film, gaming, arts, the arts in general are massively affected by this. And this is piracy on the internet. Now, I myself am guilty of piracy on the internet. I think pretty much everybody is who runs in these circles. Even many people who claim they're not have, even if accidentally, pirated things. YouTube is just full of films that you can watch free of charge, which you don't need to pay for. But the major problem is with comic books, like I said, which is an obvious thing when you think about it. They're just photos. You can take a photo, upload it to YouTube, and it's there. It's done. Many people struggle on that front because recent ideas coming from comic book writers from Marvel and DC is that on average, only 1 in 20. Oh no, it's like for every one person who buys the comic book legitimately, 20 people are reading it in pirated form. That's madness. mean, I don't know the numbers for video game and film. I should probably got them up during the song, but again, I was having to deal with hairdryer man outside. But you know, that's man is I don't believe those numbers. I believe the numbers about comic books, but I do not believe the numbers for film and game would be anywhere near as high as that. They'd be high, don't get me wrong, but because of how easy it is for comic books to be uploaded, that's a major problem for the industry, because the industry is dying. Okay, it's old media. It's paper, but it's still fighting on, and there's still a lot of dedicated fans to it. You know, like I said, get in touch with the show, telling me I need to talk about them more. And it's a slow media form. I get it. There's never normally anything huge happening. Occasionally, the big film writer comes in and does something. J.J. Abrams. But apart from that, there's never normally huge amounts going on. But when it's just such a slow industry, and it's gonna if people don't sort out the piracy side of it, it will be on its knees and it will be over, because it's an expensive thing. You're paying for the writers and the artists. It's a double barrel. I mean, to be honest, these things are not as expensive as film and games to make. I get it, but especially webcomics, but they're still big. And this was the other thing. It's more than just paid for comics. Marvel, DC. This is everyone. This is the small guys, webcomic guys who have free access to your webcomic. You don't need to pirate them, but the problem is people reshare them, and it's like, oh, we're giving you exposure. Exposure isn't a thing, people. Okay, I'm probably talking to the converted here. Obviously, it's mostly people who don't spend enough time in this kind of sphere of understanding what is art. Okay, who do not understand that exposure, giving people exposure, it is not good. You're not doing anything good. You can say, check out this person's work. I think it's really good. You can get and if you get permission, then exposure can be good, because you're working out where the deal is, what they want to put on air, what they want for you to show. However, there's no exposure. There's exposure isn't good on Instagram, on the internet in general, anywhere. It's not good unless you've got the permission. Okay, don't pretend it is. This is an interesting one, because it's something I see a lot of, and I get really worked up about, because it's just not. It's not helping these industries grow, and I think that's the real problem here. We need growth, especially in comic books. It's an old, like I said, old media, and it needs to keep fighting, and this will not help. And yeah, I'm probably calling out to all the people who already do, but I think it's important we raise awareness of this. And there's probably some of you who are pirating your comic books and pirating other things. This has got me to reflect on what I've pirated over the years, and I'm going to hold my hands up and say I've done stuff. I think I've pirated old 90s video games onto my laptop to emulate. I'm not gonna I'm just gonna say it, but we've got to think about it, especially new things, because that's where money is. I know, and that's a terrible excuse, and people should still be paying for old stuff, and I should, and I will. However, especially when it comes to new media, things that are coming out now, we've got to support it, because otherwise there won't be anything new. It's as simple as that. Sadly, not everything is open source yet. Bring the communist revolution. No, I'm joking. Anyway, let's put some more music on before I dig myself into any deeper of a hole. The band name always feels pretty nerdy, but then the music isn't. This is CSS, and Let's Make Love and listen to Death from Above. I think you've heard it. I think it's on the station backlist. It should be if it's not. Have fun.
Show your mad love. You came to tell it's not enough. Come and erase me and take me with you. Kiss me, I'm drunk, but don't worry, it's true. I wanted to show you how mad is my love. Come and attack me, it's not gonna hurt. Find me, deny me, but fear when it goes. Let's make a love and listen that from above. Let's make love. Let's make love and listen that from above. You knew my ideas when they were in my head. They were my secret, even in plans. Wine, then bed, then more, then again. Wine, then bed, then more, then again. Run, run, run to make a heart shake. 'Cause this is will make this earthquake. I'm gonna get what I'm willing to take. This got a worth
This is NSR.
That iPad is still on way too loud. I need to turn that down. Yes, that was CSS, and Let's Make Love and Listen to Death from Above. Absolute tune, not at all getting carried away, clicking along to it and dancing out of my chair. That I had completely forgotten that I am hosting a radio show and need to put everything together. So that's why there was the slight pause there. But I think I'm doing all right. Anyway, we'll keep this show running. We are now in the later stages of the show. It's 10 to 11. Starting to slow down a bit, but maybe we'll do the extra so. Maybe we'll jump into the bonus round. There's no sign of anybody in the next room yet. No knocks on the door. I think the door's open. I've not had a message to get because there's a door. I think I've said many times probably, but there's a door that someone from the other side has to open to get people in and out, which is ridiculous because it means you can't keep everybody running in here all the time. But you got to be there's security systems. You know, it's like people going places. We're in a weird bit of the student union. We're kind of just out of the way. Anyway, yeah, CSS, Listen to Death from Above. What was I going to say? No, there was no, if you haven't noticed, which you probably have, there was no Forgotten B-side this week. I didn't really put one together. So instead, as well as Cheese on Toast in the beginning, I feel like we're going to throw another section. This section is called What's Being Played in My Mother's Car. My mum. And the reason I'm doing this is because she has an amazing taste in music, and it basically is what... I think everyone's taste in music is in some way influenced by their parents. If you have a good taste in music, I've just said it. If you... Great, I'm going to get so much of this. Just don't tell any of the rest of the hosts on this week or ever that I'm about to say all this stuff. But if your taste in music is not the mainstream, you have been influenced by your parents, I'm pretty sure. Even if you've been influenced in the opposite direction of your parents. Okay? Even if your parents music your parents liked has pushed you away from the music, you've still been influenced. If you know, it's nurture. You've been brought up into a household that gives different music, so you're going to hear different music, even if you hated it or liked it. Anyway, before I ramble myself off into infinity, this is Paul Simon, and the song is "That Was Your Mother," even, which I think is perfect to start this for the first time we're doing this section, from the Graceland album, which of course has many cultural ramifications and is a historically important album, which I'll talk about more after the song. But let's hear it. That Was Your Mother, Paul. Was Your Mother by Paul Simon. Yeehaw. That's a nice tune. And it's... Yeah, okay. Spotify, we don't need anything more, thank you. I swear I hit pause. Anyway, it can be a bit temperamental working with this interface. I'd much rather have something a bit more solid. Anyway, yeah, like I said, Graceland, a really important album. Recorded in South Africa, I think, from the dates near the end of the apartheid years. So we get apartheid. I can't tell if it's my now corrupted southern accent, my neo-northern accent, or just my inability to speak playing with me there. But yes, and it full of sounds from that era, and I think it's really important from everything I can read. I need to do the whole show on it. I didn't. Sorry. So yeah, That Was Your Mother, Paul Simon. That was really chill. Anyway, we are coming up to 11 o'clock. Now you know what that means. The show's almost over. So I guess I have to wrap up, don't I? Well, no one's come in. It's time for that little cheeky bit on the side. I think it's time for the bonus round. But first, I think we'll orchestral maneuvers in the dark now as we head into the bonus round. Something slightly different, maybe. Something slightly more interesting. This is Enola Gay.
This is Student Radio. This is NSR.
I've even turned the iPad down and that sounds far too loud through the headphones. Anyway, yeah, we have joined. Welcome to the bonus round. Slightly more. There it is. Took a moment for the music to hit. Bonus round time. Yep. Past 10 o'clock. Past 11 o'clock. 10 o'clock. I keep doing it. Keep doing it. I said this last week. I feel like my show should end at 10. No, it ends at 11. I start at 10. What am I doing? Anyway, yeah, welcome to the bonus round. No sign of anyone next door. So we're just going to keep playing some tunes and keep talking drivel. I bet you love this bit. I know nobody actually loves this bit. Most people have sort of tuned out. Anyway, so yeah. My next week. Let's talk about that because I've run out of nerdy stuff to say. Like I said, it's been a slow week on that front. My next week looks pretty clean, like pretty empty, but it could be a lot worse. Trust me, we've had, after last week, I will take what we get this week. One assignment deadline, I think that's it. Oh, and the presentation. We've got our tutorial presentations at the end of the year, you know, where you have to stand up and actually give something. Maybe that's only, I guess that's only a science thing, because our tutorials are just doing problems and not really a discussion. Well, they're kind of a discussion about the problems, but you kind of get what I mean. It's not quite the same as some of the humanities tutorials, from everything I understand. Anyway, we're going to stand up at the end and show off this. It's going to be great. Let's get to show off for a bit. Show off this solution. So I've just got to make sure my solution's right, but I've already gone through it. I went for last week. I'm feeling pretty confident. And then the waves assignment, as always. Yeah, it's going to be a chill week. I don't know. I imagine labs will be on next week because the strikes are off. The strikes will be off, which is at least something I don't have to wade my way through every morning, getting down from Parkview to the campus through the two lines, because there's one on one side of the road, one on the other, when it comes to the picket lines, which is always, it's alright. I think the strikes have been okay. I don't know if they've been out enough. I feel they've been there in the mornings, but, you know, I mean, some of my days don't finish till 5 or 6. I'm not expecting to be there then, but when I'm around at 3, I expect them still to be there, you know. I feel they should be doing their work days on strike. Like, they shouldn't be taking it off. Maybe that's just me, just being a bit snotty. I love the pamphlets that they're giving out. If you notice, they've changed throughout the week. I think there's like one each day, or at least one about each of the 4 issues they're going on strike about. So I've got a collection of those. I just think it's quite nice. It's quite a fun thing to do. I know a few other people have just decided to collect them because why not? Yeah. So next week's looking pretty chill. I mean, we're getting kind of in the Christmas run now. I mean, you'd think it'd be getting crazy because we've got so many exams to do, but I think, especially if you're in physics, we've had them all. I know a few of the sciences have still got a fair bit to come, and I know a lot of humanities do. Good luck, all of you, with that. Anyway, let's put some more songs on because this is the bonus round, and I do not have a huge amount to say in it. And Balloon Fight bonus round music goes on for a lot longer than I thought it did, and it's very repetitive, so I'm going to turn it off in just now. And let's put on a Hot Chip track. I think I've played, this is now going to be my 3rd Hot Chip track, which makes them the most played artists on this show, which is completely fair, because they are probably... I've thrown around the phrase music important to my childhood a lot on the show, especially for the last few weeks, but Hot Chip is a band that really got me going on I don't know, Pet Shop Boys is still more important. It kind of just got stuck in the car and the same songs are played over and over. Anyway, as another reference to Fight Night, because you know I had so much fun, this is Hot Chip and Wrestlers, if I can hit play.
It's me versus you and love. 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 Go tag team, double up, hit you in the sweet spot and make you wish you puffed up. The gloves are off. The gloves are off. It's we've been messing around, taking our some man down. While you've got us on the ropes, we plan to play the mess around. He's technically trained. You've got him buckled up and he will misbehave. You're way bigger and trained, but I've got the power and the glory in my bony brains. The gloves are off. The gloves are off. So why'd you gonna have to fight dirty? Don't fight dirty, don't hit me with the chair. The gloves are off. So why'd you gonna have to fight dirty? Don't fight dirty, don't bite me in the face. The gloves are off. Now what you gonna do when I come for you with all that I've got? I've got a roll of coins, I'm aiming for your lines and I will never stop. Ooh. I He'll charm you with a double axe and then he brings a tire tax. He's not dressed for a cage. He's robed in garments strictly for another age. Here we come, drop kick, half Nelson, full Nelson, Willie Nelson, Willie Nelson.
Body slam, suplex, headlock, summer slam, elbow drop, belly flop, cage match, grudge match, stamp, snurk, stamp, schneek, alfilet, harshlob, wet, melsamas, albe, scalpus.
It's me versus he 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 versus wrestling. I think you think I'm about to throw the towel in. Everyone knows Monday night means wrestling.
Wrestlers and hot chip and wrestlers. That's the way around you're supposed to do it, isn't it? Yeah, it's for a song called Wrestling. Surprisingly chilled out at the end there. I love it. It's a nice bouncy number. Yeah, like I said, references to Fight Night just because it was such a good time. Yeah, this is the problem with the bonus round. I never have anything major to say. What have I been doing this week that's not school related? Well, apart from Fight Night or the NSL stuff as well. Playing about a lot with my computer recently. I run on Linux operating systems because they are the master race. And I've just been fiddling about trying to get Wine, which is the Windows operator, for that to work. I've been struggling recently, but it's been alright. It's good fun. Just kind of stuff like that has been most of my off time this week, just fiddling about with bits and pieces. It's normally kind of nerdy things to do. Apart from that, it's not been huge. I didn't go to on Wednesday. I didn't go to Tabletop Sock. That's it. Sadly, I loved doing that, but didn't go this week because the exam I had on Friday, and I thought we'd be on labs on Thursday, but we weren't, so I kind of could have gone, but you know what it's like, you never know what's going to happen. And then, of course, tap dancing on a Wednesday. People who don't know, I am a tap dancer of sorts. I guess I'm somewhat decent. I've been doing it for a while now, so I kind of have to be at least decent at this point. I don't do it with the over here. I couldn't find anything, at least that worked for my time for tap dancing over here. I don't think there even is anything. So I'm down at Dance City. Dance City's a really nice venue. I need to go and see some stuff there. I think I'm going to do that at some point. That doesn't sound like a particularly nerdy thing to do, but dance can be really nerdy if you get into it. I mean, you can tell some really great stories with that. And I think, to be honest, a lot of nerd culture is about storytelling. And I think dance can be a part of that. Dance can definitely be a part of that. Shout-outs to my sister Charlotte, who is laughing at Dad for the... I think it's Mum, actually. I can't tell. I just got the message. From That Was Your Mother's song, just before we went into the bonus zone. Yeah, she's a big dance nerd. She's a nerd on dance, but she won't admit it. Anyway, going from that chill, well, let's just say I want something.
Just what is it that you want to do?
Well, we want to be free. We want to be free to do what we want to do. And we want to get loaded. And we want to have a good time.
Basically, Fight Night.
Well, when, baby? Let's go.
We're going to have a good time.
Let's go.
We're going to have a party. Just what is it that you want to do?
I'm gonna get deep down, I said. I'm gonna get deep down. Woo, hey!
We want to be free to do what we want to do.
Away, baby, let's go.
We want to be free to do what we want to do. We want to be free to do what we want to do.
This is NSR.
See, I fell for the trap there. I myself fell for the trap there. I saw artist Primal Scream loaded, and I went, oh yeah, that's going to be loud. No, that was just as chillin'. Just as chillin'. Primal Scream and loaded, and absolutely just, taking us into, keeping us in the bonus round, this kind of chill vibe. Seems to be what we're going for in this front. Because, it's a Saturday morning, and to be honest, more people are waking up in this hour than they were in the last hour, so I guess I should probably do all the kind of wake-up stuff now, and then do all the hyper stuff in the first show while people are... Well, wait, that doesn't make any sense? Am I talking rubbish? I'm probably talking rubbish, aren't I? I'm flicking through the old show playlist at the moment to see what I've missed, because I make huge hour-long minimum show lists for... music lists for each show, and then never end up playing it all because you just run out of time or you talk more than you think, and you also always want to have... I learned this from the first show. More songs in your bank than you actually use. So I'm kind of flicking through some of the old show music. I did play it. That sounded like it came through the headphones there. Yeah. So I'm just kind of trying to find stuff to play. I haven't played a gaming song. I mean, there's been background music for gaming songs as always, but I guess I haven't played one, and I guess a few people might be a bit... no one's ever annoyed when I don't, but, some people come for that, and again, you're the biggest part of my audience. So, let's play... We're going to keep it on the chill side, like we said. Let's say something that could easily be mistaken for classical music, and I'm pretty sure I've had my parents mistake it for classical music a few times. Actually, I know I have, because I used to have a disc with a suite of The Legend of Zelda music on, and I have vivid memories of Dad walking in. My father? Well, who do you think I am? Rees-Mogg? Dad walking in and asking, what are you listening, what's this classical music CD? And I'm like, oh, I just found it, I'm trying to play it off. Yeah, anyway, Legend of Zelda, yeah, take it. Majora's Mask is better than Ocarina of Time. Fight me! Sorry, I had to say it. like I said, this is the bonus round. You sign up for randomness. That was... Well, not randomness. Difference. That was... this is where I've got to try and pronounce Japanese names, which I'm never good at. Koji Kondo's Legend of Zelda Suite, performed by the London Philharmonic Orchestra of all people. So, respectable bands there. Okay, I think after that I need to put something a bit more upbeat on before everyone decides to tune off. I mean, like I said, this is the bonus round, and I am throwing a show together with the odds and ends that I can find and just seeing what comes out. However, I think we're going to jump from one extreme to the other now. Let's go from classical music to the Arctic Monkeys. I'm not even going to try and put anything together here. With Fluorescence Adolescence. I may have played this only a few weeks ago, but I'm just feeling in the mood, so you're going to have to listen to it. Have fun. No, I 100% played this a few weeks ago. Tough.
Now you only get it in your night dress. Discarded all the naughty nights for niceness. Landed in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole. Nothing seems to pity is the past though. A Bloody Mary's like an El Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had. The best you ever had is just a memory and those dreams. But as daft as they seem, as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream them all. Flicking through a little book of sex tips. Remember when the bars were all electric? And now when she's told she's gonna get it, I'm guessing that she'd rather just forget it. Clinging to not getting sentimental. Said she wasn't going but she went still. Like a gentleman had to be gentle. Was it a mechadabra or a betting pencil? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had. The best you ever had is just a memory and those dreams. But as daft as they seem, as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream them overflow. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Falling about, you took a left off last life lane, just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again. Falling about, you took a left off last life lane, you were just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again. You used to get it in your fishnets, now you only get it in your night dress. You started off annoying nights for niceness, so then I'm in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole. Is everything as pretty as the past though? That Bloody Mary's like an El Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal?
That has got to be... I don't know why I just cut. I think I accidentally paused it. But that has got to be... It was at the end of the song anyway. That's got to be a very typical student union song. I feel like that's a definite student. Arctic Monkeys, Fluorescent Adolescence. Yeah, bonus round. Like I said, anything goes, anything goes. On the subject of anything goes, next up is the band with the unpronounceable name, triple exclamation marks, whatever you're supposed to call them. No one knows. The 1-2. Exclamation mark and the 1-2. Should have kept that running. I think I should have just talked over the outro. I feel I've already played like 2 weeks worth of shows in, well, at least a week's worth of shows in this first half an hour of the bonus round. I know last time I only did 20 minutes. I feel like I'm going to go for a little longer. We'll keep going up until 22, and then I need to head. I need to get a little bit of work done this weekend. You know what it's like. University life, you've got to get a little bit done at some point. You know, it's in there. It's important, especially when you're doing physics. It's a big part. Okay, next song. Election's coming up. I hope you've all registered to vote. I know the deadline's already passed, so I kind of already missed the big push on that front end. Blah, 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 blah. And recently there was some article, again, this is why I read the Courier before I get in. Some lecturer has been moaned at on Twitter. I think that's the best way of putting it. And been as much as reported to the election commission for literally just promoting that their students go out and vote. which I think, well, at least register to vote, which I think is ridiculous. You should be able to promote it in a non-partisan way, any way possible, like I am now. The next song, however, is far from non-partisan, and I'm tempted to play two of them back to back. This is a non-partisan, but it's Americans, so we're allowed to be non-partisan. We're allowed to just moan at them. Yeah, bit of retrofitting on this, bit of old school going at the evil, the fascists. Almost, you could call them the fascist groove things. I'm doing terrible at putting this together. This is Heaven 17 and Fascist Groove Thing.
Have you heard it on the news about this fascist groove thing? Evil men with racist views spreading all across the land. Don't just sit there on your ass and look that funky chain dance. Brothers, sisters, shoot your best. We don't need this fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. History will repeat itself. Crisis point, we're near the hour. Counter force will do no good. Hot US, I feel your power. Hitler proves that funky stuff. It's not for you and me, no. Europe's an unhappy land. They've had their fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Democrats are out of power across that blue wide ocean. Reagan's president-elect, fascist God in motion. Generals tell him what to do. Stop your good time dancing. Train their guns on me and you. Fascist thing advancing. Sisters, brothers, lend a hand. Increase our population. Grab that blue thing by the throat and throw it in the ocean. You're real tonight, you move my soul. Let's cruise on the dance floor. Come out your hands and dance your dance. Shake that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing. Brothers, sisters, we don't need that fascist groove thing.
This is Student Radio. This is NSR.
This is indeed Student Radio. And that was We Don't Need This, in brackets, Fascist Groove Thing. Actually, it's the other way around. The We don't need this is in brackets. Fastest groove thing is the title. Anyway, From Heaven 17, Penthouse and Pavement. I mentioned earlier about Hot Chip being the most, very important in my music. No, 100% wrong. This album is the one that got me into things. End of conversation. On the subject of end of conversations, I should probably wrap up. This is the longest bonus round of 40 minutes, and I'd rather be out the door before the next guys come in before I get asked any questions on why I'm still here. So, let's end. I don't even know if I should end on a song or I should just walk out and let the trash that is the music player play. I mean, we have to take what we take. I don't know. We need one more thing to finish off. I feel like I've played so much, and I just don't want to repeat myself. But I feel like I've played nearly every song on my kind of major lists. I'm going to have to spend a good chunk of Christmas just digging into more things. I feel I've lost... I didn't bring a digital radio here, so as a result, I feel I've missed out on a lot of my music influences, some 6 music and the like. So I feel that's, a bit of an issue. But I've got enough. Don't worry. It won't get too repetitive. I mean, we've had a lot of the same bands today. I don't think anyone's got a double play. It's possible someone's got a double play. Oh, I feel like someone's got a double play, haven't they? It's, yeah, okay. Honestly, it's the bonus round. I don't care. We need to finish on something good, though. We need to finish on a high, and I am struggling to think of anything to actually finish on a high with. Come on, Josh, you'll find something. So yeah, my next week's going to be chill. I hope you all have a great next week. Have you a great weekend running into Christmas. Hope no one has anything too serious on the work-wise. Oh, come on, Josh, you'll find something decent. I don't think I've played it yet. No, you played them last week, though. Oh, this is the problem. That's why I need to just cut the show short. I might just finish it now, actually. No, we've got it. I know how to end. Okay. I was going to play this at the beginning of, I believe, the Pokemon show, but we know how much of a disaster that was. It's almost like the bonus round is, but for the main show. This is an absolute sing-along. I hope you have a great week. This is Gold by Spandau Ballet. Good luck out there, people.